I'm back. Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Spencer and this is Sketch a Day. And I know you're thinking, where the hell have you been for the last over a year? Well, I wanted to just record this special bit before I get into drawing, just to talk a little bit about life and reconnect with all of you. First of all, I want to say thanks for all the love and reaching out and for all the support. For those of you who know my background, I've kind of spent the last year just figuring out really who I am and about life. And to be honest, not that I'm being dishonest, but just to lay it out there, I was married for about 7 years, and last, I guess, in 2016, everything kind of went sideways, and I'm now divorced. So if you've ever gone through that process, it can be really disorienting. I still love drawing. I've always loved drawing, always will love drawing, and it's taken me some time to just reconnect with my passions, what I love, and just, I guess, mentally, emotionally being in a place where I can put myself in front of the camera again and do what I love. I've learned a lot this last year, like I said, about myself, and I've traveled, I've met people, I've experienced things I haven't experienced before, even gone through somewhat of a restructuring of my idea of faith and life and outlook on a lot of things, parenting, you name it. And really, without going into a lot of detail, it's been an amazing experience. But I'm back. I'm here. I realized that, the last time I did this, I kind of bit off a lot. Promised you guys I'd do videos 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. That's kind of exhausting. And so what I'd like to do is commit to something, to always be in touch. I'm going to put it that way. I do commit to doing 1 video a week at least, hopefully 2. But really, I'm realizing there are a lot of important things in life that I'm committed to. This is one of those things that I think is really important. One, to keep me sharp and keep me engaged in what I'm passionate about. But 2, also to be able to share what I love with all of you. To be clear, and this has always been the case with doing this online video thing, I don't make a lot of money doing this. This is really a passion project for me. When I was a student in college, I didn't really have access to a lot of resources for people who were willing to essentially create something accessible for me. I had an experience recently where I was able to travel to Chicago and participate in a sketching specific conference, and it was incredible. Realizing, and I don't say this to brag, because it was incredibly awkward at times, but to realize how many lives have been touched by the things I've done, that's kind of been a humbling experience for me. So I'm grateful to all of you for staying interested, sticking with me. I've still been sketching on my Instagram at sketchaday.com. I'm in a new studio because I have a new house again, and this will be kind of the set, and I'll make improvements as necessary, but this will be my home base. So to kick things off, I'm going to do a couple demos here today, and it's only fitting that I show you a couple things that help me when I'm trying to get back in the groove of things. Sometimes you might be sketching, you face a creative block, or you realize, hey, I'm kind of getting rusty on a few things. I just want to show you a few simple exercises, some of which I've covered before, but this is quite literally where I am right now with my drawing. So join me on my journey, if you will, to just sharpening my skills. I am so excited to be doing this again and share this with you. So without further ado, let's get started. So just to start, we've got here my simple printer paper and simple tools. Another thing I've learned this year is just to keep it simple as much as possible, whatever I'm doing. So I've got just printer paper, my paper made flare, and I've got a Prismacolor marker here as well. As always, I'll post these links in the description of the video so that if you want these materials and want to support me, you can make your purchases through those links, and I'll get a kickback from Amazon or wherever it is I'm posting. So just to start, as always, draw with your shoulder. So my shoulder is my pivot, my elbow is a pivot, and I'm locking my wrist. And I'm just going to draw some straight lines, as straight as I can. If you want to make this a little more challenging, you can always put 2 dots down on the paper first. So you could do 2 dots, try and draw to those 2 dots. The key being focus on where you're going, not where you are. Another life lesson for you from this year. The next thing I like to do to warm up is circles. So just some quick, nice circles. In my case, I'm doing about 2 to 3 inches in diameter. And you can go slow or you can go fast if you just want to warm up your muscles. The key for me here is I'm trying to make sure that I start and end in relatively the same place, my proportion's good, and that I've got a nice flow going on. Next, ellipses. And for ellipses, I like to do just a progressive degree of ellipse as I move down my page. There's a couple ways I could do this, right? So I can draw 2 lines and try and fit my ellipses in those lines. A little more challenging. Just as I warm up here. Start with a nice tight, maybe 5. Jump to 15, 20, 30. And just kind of spread the degree of your ellipses as you go, progressively. And one of my favorite things about this warm-up is, you may not realize, and if you've watched me online for a bit, you may have seen this trick, but this is kind of like drawing the wheels on a sick car. Okay, so if I just pick the right ellipses here, I can pretty quickly at least have part of a car sketch. This one's probably a little too big for my paper, but you get the idea. So there you go. And these warm-up exercises, as silly as they may seem, can really help you get sharp with your sketching. So one thing I've just been practicing in my spare time is sketching primitives in as proper perspective as I can. And not just primitives, but the addition, subtraction, and Boolean operations that come with primitives, multiplying and so forth. So just to start, I'm going to sketch just a simple rectilinear shape, and as you can see, I'm rotating my paper so that I get the angle I want to draw it here. I'm not using any gray marker for an underlay or anything like that. Just drawing and drawing through my form. So there I've got simple shape on the paper. So now I'm going to try and add to this shape. And to do that, and here's the challenge, right? And you can kind of see it there where the first line was sketched a little bit off. So the challenge is, as I'm adding this shape, this block, if you will, I'm having to look at all my lines in perspective and make sure, so looking at this line, okay, that one feels a little bit off. This line here, just making sure that there is a convergence happening. Okay, even this vertical line here, so we've got these lines that look like they converge to some vanishing point off the page. And this line here, I'm going to use as a reference for that. Okay, so now I've got 2 shapes connected together. Let's add a third. I'm going to go vertical for this one. And you can play with the proportion, okay, as you go. And that kind of helps you just essentially create compositions, right? So this one I kind of hid the top because I'm assuming that my horizon line is somewhere up in there. And just to wrap this one up on the outline, I'm going to take this fatty Prismacolor marker and just bold outline the shape. Just like so. And if you want, add a background to it. Maybe a shadow. Just like so. Simple, easy, three-dimensional shape constructed on my paper. Let's do another one here. And for this one we'll do some addition and subtraction of shapes. Draw through as always. So first of all, let's subtract a portion of this. Okay, and I'm drawing everything through because I want to focus on perspective and where things would kind of net out, right? So there I've taken this core, this little shape, out. Okay, and now I'm going to add a mask kind of in the same place, just because, you know, this is my drawing. I can do whatever I want with it. Just look at perspective, boom, 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 like they converge. For this shape I can end it wherever I want. I'm going to bring this down. And because this is a cutout and this is an addition, okay, you're going to see part of it as this shape right through here, and we can draw through and find out where it would end. You know, somewhere there. Okay. So we can draw through, it'll look messy, but again, the whole point of this exercise is just to get your brain thinking about the mechanics of perspective, proportion, and positioning your drawing on paper. And with the outline, you'll see that just the contrast in the line weight is going to help you pull out what's relevant in this drawing. Okay, so the first weight is my outline. Okay, so that's the first heavy weight. You can see that's pulling it off the page. I'm going to call it a 3, so we're going to think a little bit in reverse. My 1, or first line weight, is going to be the lines that I drew for the rest of the drawing. And then my number 2, I've just taken this Prismacolor using a bullet tip. Okay, and that's basically where two things overlap, kind of like my hands here. So where there's an overlap right here, I'm going to draw with this bullet tip. So I've got 1 here, 2 here. Alright, so that's my 2, maybe right here as well. And looks like that's it. And just for fun, let's throw a shadow on the top. Like so. And the shadow for my drawing here. I'm just ghost drawing so I know where the shadow would go. And for this top piece, you know, it might be something like that. I'm just gonna fake it in for now. If you want to know about how to construct shadows, there's a video on my channel that talks specifically about the process of how to construct your shadows. Okay, and let's go ahead and clean this up just a little bit. Oh, this one would also be a 2 right there because of my overlap. And I'll shade this face, which will also help clear up some of the visual clutter. Just like so. little bit of shading on that back surface. So now we have a direction for our light source as well. So again, just like the warm-up exercises, right, get you ready to draw more complex things. This exercise, as you sharpen your perspective, the execution of your lines, focusing on line weight, it's going to help you also tighten up your perspective as well when you draw more complex things. You know, these random cube drawings you could think of as, you know, architectural. If you change the scale, the point of view, it becomes a building. Or if you modify the point of view, it could become a robot droid, it could become a product, that kind of thing. So think of these primitive drawing exercises as just priming the pump or getting you ready to draw more complex things. And again, much like life after a big change, sometimes you just got to get back to basics and get to the fundamentals of really what matters in the end. Well, thanks for joining me for this little bit weird but hopefully helpful episode of Sketch-A-Day. Truthfully, I'm not even sure which episode it is. I'm just going to put it up there and keep it real with you guys. Thank you again for being patient, being loyal, and being supportive. I've been up to a few things this year. One thing I do want you to check out is phase0.co. That's my little side project where I'm just creating art and things and putting it out there into the universe, and hopefully you guys find some value there. You can always follow me on my Instagram at sketchaday.com, or if you love Facebook, I am facebook.com/sketchaday. And of course, you can always email me, spencer@sketchaday.com or info@sketchaday.com. Works as well. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time right here at Sketch-A-Day.